Welcome back to Views on News. Today we're going to talk about the Aaron Hernandez documentary on Netflix. You and I followed this story in his career, being that we've watched every single draft since 2004, 2003, somewhere in there together.
Probably even earlier than that.
Yeah. So don't mind us, we're alcoholics. Mike's already open.
Love Mom. Love family.
But no, so I wanted to talk to you about this because it blew my mind. I knew the story peripherally. I had a lot going on in my own life. He actually hung himself the day before my daughter was born. We were literally in the hospital, and that's the only thing on every channel is the fact that he hung himself the day that my daughter was born, because he did it the night before she was born.
Gives your daughter a lot to live up to.
yeah, exactly. So I had a lot going on, so I didn't know all the facts of this case. I just kind of knew it peripherally, seeing it in the media and whatnot, homeboy killed a bunch of dudes or whatever. Okay, that's weird. He plays for the Patriots. Why would he do that? And after seeing that documentary and seeing how A, brazen, and B, how almost idiotic he was, and the fact that he thought he wouldn't get caught. Yes, people are going to be he's Aaron Hernandez. He's not the one that killed this person for a while. But if you leave the blunt that you were smoking when you shot the guy next to the body, if you take the rental car back that you were driving with the bullets in the trunk, if you walk through your house carrying the murder weapon on your own security system that you put in,
it's not good.
They might be well, he may have. I know he catches balls for the Patriots.
It's not looking good.
Yeah.
At that point. But the whole time I was watching that thing, I was like, I cannot believe that this guy who had it all, he just signed what was a $40 million contract.
A month after blasting two dudes in traffic.
He was, he was a legend in high school, went to Florida, which I'm going to guess is one of the biggest party schools.
Scholarship at age 14 offered by
playing
UConn.
for national championships. Scholarship at 14.
Tim Tebow, Jesus Jr., was throwing the ball to a murderer.
And a racist.
And a closeted homosexual with rage issues.
Yeah, that's apparently, that was the theme of it. But I'm just saying, somebody had it all. He played for the New England Patriots, Tom Brady, that whole, probably the most famous team that we've had in the last 10 years. And he had it all. And for some reason, he was like, let's go murder people. Mm-hmm. And he had a kid.
Yeah, 4-year-old daughter.
Throughout all this. And that's why the whole time I'm just I cannot believe that he threw all that away to kill a few people.
Yeah, off of the narrative that they painted in the documentary was that because he was closeted gay and couldn't live the life that he truly wanted to live, he had what everybody thought was everything, but in reality he had nothing because he was living a secret that he couldn't let out because of the profession he chose and the people he was around. And so that was the narrative they put forth. I also think, add to that he may have been a sociopath. I mean, his father, from the time he was young, apparently smashed his mom's head into a sink as punishment, for an argument they had.
There's definitely some sociopath issues.
Yeah. And, I heard they showed a audio clip of him talking to his mom saying that if he was in front of her that he would have been beating her up and whatnot. So, there's obviously he's not just a person with rage issues because he doesn't get to live out loud the lifestyle that he wants. Yeah. He's also a crazy fucking person. You don't just shoot two people and then walk into the Patriots office I'm going to sign my $40 million contract.
Yep.
Also, a mile from my house, I dumped a body of my girlfriend's sister's boyfriend.
That's what's crazy to me is how stupid he was with all of it.
Yeah, he literally.
Not that I wanted him to get away with it.
I'm a football player. They're not going to convict me.
Turns out, well, he probably saw OJ and he's like, "Whew, I'm out." Plus, I'm a minority. Y'all are racist.
Whatever he thought, he didn't think enough.
No,
he should have thought longer.
That was crazy, though.
It was.
How all that went down.
Yeah, and the fact that one of the dudes testifying against him literally had a bullet hole in his face from where he shot him.
Yes, and his eye wasn't working.
Yeah, and that he went to Bill Belichick and was like, "Hey, Bill, so I'm fearing for my life. Can you trade me?" And Bill's like, "No."
Well, there's obviously some paranoia issues
Yeah.
because, they're talking about having that security system, and then he was talking about, supposedly the FBI is after him, CIA, whatever.
A few interesting facts that I wanted to touch on that came out about that. One, Tim Tebow apparently went to late night clubs with Aaron Hernandez during his college days.
Yep.
The other being that the Patriots and probably every team in the league have somebody who takes care of needs of players if they have things like they need an apartment that needs to be in someone else's name or what have you. I imagine, like his friend, his ex-boyfriend from high school and middle school, the quarterback. Allegedly. He said he put on 30 pounds of muscle when he went to college. So it makes you wonder, too, do colleges also have people like that can get you whatever you need to try and perform better and whatnot?
There's a gray area there, definitely.
Is it just the strength and conditioning program, or
is he having help?
Where's he getting the money from for all the tattoos that he started getting? He wasn't working a job whatsoever in college.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of cash exchanged.
Right.
And some
and
handshakes.
So, we all know this goes on, right? People get caught left and right or whatever. Just those were some interesting things that came out in the course of them investigating the murders and whatnot.
But also you have somebody that's never been really told no in his life.
Yeah. Since his father's death.
And he keeps on getting away with all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it just builds. I think it just built and built and built. And like you said,
I think he watched Scarface
NFL
one too many times, and he's like, "Yeah, I was raised in Connecticut with all white people, but I want to start shooting motherfuckers and having gang friends."
Whoops.
I also love that he would have never even met the guy who got him into guns and all that stuff in the first place had he not had to buy marijuana on the black market. If he could have just went to a dispensary, then he never would have met the guy that eventually sold him guns and harder drugs. And
you don't think, though, that he would have eventually led to something like that?
He may have went and found an arms dealer if that's what he was searching for. But I heard a story where Mike Tyson was talking about he was talking to the guy that could get him exotic cars. And the guy also then eventually was like, I can get you animals, too. And he's like, could you get me a tiger? And then the rest is history, right?
What's wrong with tigers?
So I'm saying if you're dealing with those black market guys where they can get you other things, that you may have never found that path to begin with had you not ran into that person. So I'm not taking anything away from the fact that he's a sociopath and did these things. Yeah. I'm saying it's interesting that the legal issues of that, the fact that he had to go to get drugs from somebody who also sold guns and also sold heroin and cocaine and did armed robberies and burglary and whatnot. Had he not ran into that crowd in the first place, never knew that crowd, then maybe he's just a sociopath on the football field.
What about the guys, though, that claim that they've had sexual relations with him?
I believe all that. I don't see I also think that he did have to hide it and pretend to be the macho man guy based on the fact that he played in the league and the way the league was set up when he played.
Yeah, I just look at it the way, though, is it's like it's all alleged. There's never going to be any evidence of it, and I don't know.
It's a lot of alleged. I do believe. No, I've never seen one, but they did allude to in the documentary that there was letters exchanged back and forth between Hernandez and several men throughout high school, college, all the way up till he died in prison and left a note for 3 different people. His daughter,
one guy they
his
interviewed in the jail, though, was talking about how he was amazed with how quickly he adapted to prison life. And became, one of the tough guys in prison.
Well, he said his mentality was, I'm not in prison, I'm just in training camp. He still thought that he was going to beat it. He was going to beat the Boston case, then he was going to challenge the other case to get overturned, and he was going to get out and still play football. So he said, I'm just in training camp. I'm just here working out, doing my thing or whatever till I get out. So that's what he thought. And then their theory is that somewhere along the line somebody told them about the law that they have in Boston or in Massachusetts where if you die while what do they call that? While challenging the trial, they erase the conviction because you can't be present in court to defend yourself. So they consider you now not guilty on something you have already been guilty of just because you challenged it and then died, even though you kill yourself. So that makes it so in his mind he thought the Patriots were going to have to pay him all the money that he was owed for the rest of his contract because he was not actually guilty of the crime.
Guaranteed.
For them to cut off his pay and cut him from the team.
Yeah.
So that they would have to pay the rest of that guaranteed money to his daughter, who is his beneficiary. However, the lawyer said that they'll just take him to court until all that money's dry anyway, and then take his daughter to court. Yeah, they'll wind up with nothing anyway, so he didn't think it through. But he didn't seem like a very smart man to begin with. So
isn't that sad that daughter's left with all that and no money?
And all that to deal with, yeah. And eventually she's going to have a Netflix account. She was 4 when this documentary was made, or in 2013 when he was tried. Just think, it's not going to be that many years till she has her own cell phone at 16, 15, 14, and she's going to see the Aarron Hernandez Netflix documentary.
Well,
or
you don't think
whatever
somebody
people said online.
She knows or she's related to has Netflix?
Yeah. Or the fact that her mom, is the one that got rid of the murder weapon for her potentially her uncle.
It didn't look good. It definitely didn't look
that
good.
He killed. I mean, yeah, poor little girl. It makes
she's got a rough life.
Yeah. Yeah. There's people with worse lives, for sure. But
that's who it's going to hurt the most in the long run, is what's sad. I mean, even, what is it, Odin or whatever, the guy that would be his girlfriend's sister's boyfriend, the one that he killed and left in the rock quarry or whatever that was.
Mm.
You know, his family's obviously devastated, but, at the same time, you got Aarron Hernandez's daughter that's just like, she's got that name.
Yep.
I mean, and maybe she'll change it at some point. I probably would.
Mm-hmm.
My last name.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's just a sad situation.
It's also scary to know that that's in you somewhere.
Right. Very true. That could be in the genetics.
Yep.
Yeah, just depends on which version you subscribe to, I guess. Is he a sociopath? Is he an enraged, closeted person? What is he?
I think it was a combination.
Is it the CTE? Is it all of it?
I think it was a combination of everything.
I agree. And the fact his dad died young, and the fact that he went to the college atmosphere when he was only 17, just turned 17.
Because it's not the first time that we've had an NFL player be abusive off the field as well.
No. It's not the first time that one's murdered somebody, or even the Chiefs had a player not that long ago that killed his girlfriend and then killed himself on grounds after he killed his girlfriend. And so
that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, there's been some crazy stuff that happened in the NFL. Never a guy who was a first round talent, was a Super Bowl hero, if you will, and then also was out shooting people on his days off, and then going to work to training camp, and then going and trying to sign a $40 million contract.
Well, and it's like in the contract, or not the contract, it's like in the documentary, they're talking about how he went an entire year after murdering 2 people.
Yeah.
Or at least a person.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, ended up shooting friends and other people, and
Well, then the other stupid thing, too, was they drove that SUV, the small SUV, and put it at his aunt's or cousin's house, wherever she was. Yeah. And parked it there, and it's like, why would you do that? Because they're going to investigate anybody related or close to Aarron Hernandez.
And they just left it in the garage for a year. There was all these chances to get rid of it or what have you.
Didn't they find evidence in it, too?
I don't know. I don't remember that part, but could be. I don't know. He left evidence everywhere he went, so.
I know.
I just love that he was like, I'm done smoking this blunt and smoking this dude. I'm just going to throw the blunt right next to the dude. Yeah, if they find my saliva, I'll just tell the cops, yes, I was on a run and smoked a blunt or something. What? I played in the NFL. Yeah. Like, what were you are you thinking?
You ever heard of the Run and Smoke?
Yeah.
Made famous by UNLV?
Oh, I thought it was Prefontaine.
No. I don't think he did drugs.
He should have bench pressed more, that's for sure.
He did have a small chest. He wasn't part of Swole Nation.
Does he even live, bro?
No, he doesn't. He runs. Spoiler alert. Anything else?
I just was mind blown about this. I didn't know the depths of his craziness until I watched that documentary.
There's obviously something there.
Yeah.
And then the fact that, this is all alleged, that Urban Meyer told him he needed to go to the NFL. Or at least need to.
He's not. Basically, he didn't want him back.
Basically, he didn't want him back.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
and the fact that they tried to bring him over to his house and like bring him into religion and like give him some structure, and he's just like, "Yeah, cool. I'll eat dinner with you guys. I'm gonna go shoot someone. See you guys."
Yeah, I'll be back.
Yeah.
Yep, just gotta go 7-Eleven.
I think he just watched Scarface one too many times and thought he was hot shit or something.
I don't know. But did you see in the trial, did you notice when Robert Kraft came in, he never made eye contact?
No, and he also was very nervous. They said he looked over his shoulder 6 times,
Yes.
and he literally looked like, every time he looked over his shoulder was like,
Yeah.
like he was, yeah. I think that's somebody he probably had a lot of respect for and never thought that he was going to have to face him with all of this.
Well, the other thing, too, to think about is, like, the pressure of all of that, too. The money, the fame. It's not everybody can handle it mentally.
No.
I mean, you know, you look at, I was reading the interview of Jake Locker, the former Washington Huskies quarterback.
Yeah.
That was a first-round pick for the Tennessee Titans.
Yep.
And he started going to alcohol a lot, and then he couldn't deal with being basically a god on campus at Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's a first-round draft pick, and they expect you to be...
He was a very smart guy, too.
Yeah.
Hernandez did not seem to be at the same level.
Exactly, my point. But he was a star.
Yes.
Basically. I mean, he was becoming a star anyways.
He was, yeah. I believe they drafted him number 12 overall, too, and they kind of reached for him based on the fact that he didn't have a great senior year at Washington. Or junior year.
Jake Walker, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, his senior year he didn't do great, but it was kind of based on the body of work. And
and his sophomore year was like...
And he had an arm he had a big arm.
Arm, speed, drive, the whole thing. Very smart.
But he couldn't handle it, and like I said, he turned to alcohol in college, actually. He said he wasn't an alcoholic, but, you know, he probably drank too much.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, and then when you become so famous, they basically take you off campus.
Yeah, there's no classes for these guys on how to handle this stuff. And
I don't know that you can... I think that classes and help and talking to, you know, other professional athletes will help you, but I don't know if there's anything that can prepare you for this.
No, and that's the thing too, is like one thing that stood out to me is they said like he went back to his hometown and his regular friends, and that's where he hung out. He never really actually made friends with his teammates and whatnot, because he probably kind of felt like he didn't belong in some sense. And then another thing that stood out to me was the people at the police station chanting that he was innocent before they even knew. The one woman that was like wearing his jersey saying that like, I don't believe he did any of this, blah blah blah. Like no reason not to believe it just because you like how he caught a football for a team that you root for.
Yeah.
Like when you boil it down to it, yeah, they seem larger than life and everything, but it's just another human being doing a job.
Yes.
They happen to be physically gifted at catching something.
Well, and in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really have an impact on your life.
No.
If you really think about it.
No. Well, those are crazy people, let's be honest. If you're down there like chanting someone's innocent, then murder people that you have no idea just because you like the way they caught a ball for a team you root for.
I think
you're a crazy person.
Yeah, and I think it's cool to root for a team and be passionate, but at the end of the day, if it's ruining your life or, you know, days of your life,
or even stressing you out to the point where it ruins your day.
Yeah.
These are multi-millionaire people doing a job in a uniform, and they could care less about you. They don't know your name, for one. They could care less about you, and they're there just as a regular human being doing a job, and you want them to be like, oh no, I'm a Raider for life, and I just want what's best for the team and sacrifice my body and blah blah blah. No, they're looking out for it's a career. They're looking out what's best for their career. They want to play where they want to play and live where they want to live. And
the other thing I thought about too, though, is obviously, like you just mentioned previously, that he was drafted by the Patriots, which isn't that very far from where he grew up, Bristol or wherever it was from.
Right, Bristol, Connecticut.
I kind of wonder if he would have been drafted by, hypothetically, let's say Seattle, the Seahawks. Will we be talking about this right now?
Probably not.
Who knows? I mean, like you said, probably not, but you never know, because it sounds like there's evidence that he may have killed somebody at Florida.
He could have got in squatching, for all you know. Like, he could have just been out here with Bobo up in the woods.
We would never find Sasquatch because you probably would have killed him.
Probably. Would have smoked that fool.
But you think about, though, too, I mean, going back to his college days, because there's possible evidence he may have murdered somebody while he was at Florida.
Right, they couldn't tie it to him, but he met the description of the person. It may have been in the air.
Well, knowing his, you know, eventually, obviously, knowing his...
Right.
background.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it
personality,
past
it's
that it actually happened.
You know, maybe. But I'm just saying, there's something there from the beginning, and I think that possible homosexuality, and then the fame, the money, and then the feeling of
the overall,
you can get away with anything.
The overall pushing down emotions and avoiding who you are definitely is the people boiling over.
I think it is too, but I don't know. I think, in my personal opinion, I think the Netflix documentary relied too much on him being a homosexual.
And I think that's because people have the goggles on of they look at this person almost like in a heroic sense, and all they did was catch a football. That's literally all he did.
Yeah.
But people look at him like he's this larger-than-life figure because he caught a football in the Super Bowl, and there's emotion attached to it and all these things, but it's still just a person doing a job. And if the guy at Subway, even if he's the best sandwich maker in the history of Subway, shoots somebody in the face, he's got to go away. Like, you can't give him other chances. You can't be rooting for him or be in his corner. You can't do that. You can't be that type of person and be a part of society. That's it.
Yeah.
That it? You got anything to add?
That's about it.
Why do you love Hernandez anyway? That's it. It's out.